Hey everyone, Othania here with Create Your Future and another video. And today I have something I want to talk about. Okay, I was reading some stuff, I came across something, and um, this person seemed a little frustrated. They said basically, I feel like giving up. 1 month no contact with SP and no movement. I'm exhausted. I understand that feeling. Um, I definitely understand that feeling. And the exhaustion is coming from you thinking that your SP is better than you. And it's coming from you putting that person on a pedestal, basically saying, my life cannot be happy until you talk to me, until you're around me. I don't know what to do with myself. I feel exhausted trying to manifest you back. If you are feeling exhausted, you're not going to manifest your person in while you're being exhausted because they're your mirror and they're always going to be your mirror. So if you're feeling exhausted, what do you think the mirror's going to show you? It's not going to give you the feedback that you think you're going to get or the feedback that you want. To get your person to be on you like white on rice, the you have to stop seeing this person like they're so far away from you. Like without you have to make the feeling of being with them normal. You are feeling exhausted because you're not allowing yourself to feel normal with this person. You feel exhausted because you then affirm and then look to see if the evidence is there. And that's not what a master manifestor does. You're feeling exhausted because you're most likely doing something to get something. You're fixated on the results, you're fixated on the how, you're fixated on everything besides how to neutralize the feeling inside of you more than trying to figure out why is this not working, why is he not, or why he or she isn't responding to me in a way I like. I'm getting exhausted, I'm getting frustrated. Being exhausted and being frustrated may work for some because I know it worked for me at points where I just gave up doing everything I was doing because everything that I was doing was part of the old self anyway, which is why when I got exhausted and I got frustrated, things started to shift in my reality with my person within days, even though I had been trying to manifest a certain reaction out of them for months and I wasn't getting my way at all. That's what got me exhausted. When I reached to the point of understanding that as long as I'm feeling exhausted, as long as I'm trying so hard to get this person, I'm not the version of myself that has it, which is why I'm not the version of myself that is currently with them. If you are feeling exhausted, you have to understand what you are doing that is making you feel that way. Okay? Getting commitment from a person can't come if you're treating them like a celebrity. If you're waking up and as soon as you wake up, you see that they haven't texted you, and all of a sudden your entire day is shut down. You have to get to a point where you're not allowing your specific person to take over your world. You're exhausted because you're losing self control. Your person will return and commit when there is a level of balance and a level of uh, clarity, surety within yourself about yourself more than them. You have to take a step back and make yourself the priority here. You get yourself to a point where you're like, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing to myself? Why am I going so hard for this person? Like, am I still alive? Yes. Do I still have my home? Yes. Am I still breathing? Yes. Do I still have my skin on my body? Yes. Right? It's like, you're fine. You don't need this person to breathe. You don't need this person to be happy. If you're trying to find happiness from someone else, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna save you the time. It's never gonna work, and you're never gonna be truly happy if that's what you're doing. Because happiness does not come from an outside source. You're feeling exhausted because you're thinking that your happiness comes from someone else. If you're not talking to me, if you're not showing up for me, I don't know how to feel happy. Because when you do talk to me, you do show up for me. My day is like amazing, amazing. I'm skipping down the street. I'm just feeling so good. Like, I'm just exercising. I'm feeling so amazing just because someone else text you and gave you the validation that you needed, when you should feel that way already without that person by yourself, just because you're grateful for life and happy for life and happy to know that you live to manifest to get the things that you want. The person that has a commitment for their person does not wake up every day looking for a text to see if they're loved. You can keep doing that if you want, but you're going to just keep putting yourself in a revolving door. My SPs always came back to me no matter how much I was pining over them, no matter how much I was crying over them, no matter how long I was crying for them, whether I was trying to manifest them back for a year, 6 months, a month, 2 months, 3 months. They always came back when I started to reach a place of peace and calm within myself. When I started to talk to myself in a different way. When I started to tell myself my happiness does not depend on somebody else. So they could come back whenever they want to. But I'm still going to be great. I'm still going to be good. And I can guarantee you, when I started to shift from feeling like I needed that person, from feeling like I was exhausted, because I was. And then when I started to just think and change my mind and be like, wait a minute, wait, like, I'm Othania. Like, I'm amazing. Like, I'm great. What am I doing? Somebody should be feeling exhausted, trying to love me or be with me, or what am I doing to myself? I shifted. My embodiment changed. I went from being depressed every day because somebody wasn't texting and talking to me to I feel amazing. I don't need nobody to make me feel good, because the reason why they wasn't making me feel good because I was thinking that I needed someone else to fill that void and make that happen for me. But until I started feeling good on my own within myself first, none of those SPs could have changed and came back. They reflected me. They're reflecting you. So you got to analyze, what am I doing right now? If I'm feeling exhausted, who am I being? I'm being a person that's desperate. I'm being a person that's trying too hard. I'm being a person that doesn't feel loved. So then that means my reality can't show me nothing else different than that. And you have to be real with yourself, because if you're not analyzing what you're doing and being real with yourself, I don't know if you're going to see changes. And you can affirm all day, but if you're not snapping yourself and finding that embodiment, that true embodiment of I'm good enough, I don't need to chase, and just keep thinking from the person that has it all, the person that always wins. And at the same time, the story that you have for that person is that you know that that person loves you and cares for you. No matter what has happened before, you're starting with a clean slate and you're only thinking from as if things were already great. Because the moment you do that, the past, present, and the future changes within that second as well with the new embodiment. Desperation equals longer time. Desperation equals not having what you want. Desperation is just not. And desperation is always going to create circumstances for you where it feels like it's hard for you to get the thing that you want. Because when you have it, you're not desperate. That would not even make any sense. So you have to get settled with yourself without the thing. What would my thoughts be like if I had this? See, the thing is this. You can take time out. I'm not saying this is what you're doing. Um, you know, I'm saying in general. You can wake up and search things up for SP all day. We can write whatever your person name is, loves me, they only want me, and but for some reason, not with everybody, but when it comes to writing for your own self concept, it's like you guys lose inspiration. You guys rather put in the work for someone else to get them back because you think getting them back is going to bring you happiness, as opposed to getting down and saying, you know what? Let me focus on myself the same way I will focus on this other person so hard. I'm focusing on trying to get this other person back so hard. I'm not even focusing on recalibrating how I'm feeling inside, which is why I don't have this person in the first place. So you see how you're causing, your own revolving door and getting in your own way. You're being desperate, which is causing your person to not commit to you because it is reflection. When have you ever seen someone being desperate, crying for someone, and that person being like, you know what? I love you so much. I want to be with you. You are the woman of my dreams, and this is going to work. Because the same feeling and the same thing you're doing behind the scenes where you think they can't see you, it gives them the same feeling as if you were doing it in their faces. So if you're being desperate behind the scenes, they're definitely feeling that as if you were being desperate in front of their faces. So you have to be like, you gotta get in tune with what you're doing. You gotta get in tune with who you're being. You gotta get in tune with how you're thinking. Because the desperation is not going to be it. The desperation always comes from the person that does not have it. So if you're feeling exhausted, it's 9 times out of 10 coming from you being desperate. You have to get rid of the desperation. Just look at all the couples. Just find a couple that you feel, reeks um, being genuine, and just see how they act with each other. They're not desperate for each other. They love each other, but they love themselves. You get what I mean? Being desperate and exhausted and all those feelings, when it comes to being with someone, it's not going to work. Think about it like this. If you're already thinking like this when they were with you, you already were in your negative thinking when they were around. So it has nothing to do with them. You were already thinking negative, which caused the separation to begin with. It has nothing to do with them. So if you're already thinking whether negative when they were with you and you're thinking negative even still when they're not with you, it's not them, it's you. So you have to master visualizing strictly, the key word is strictly, what you want with that person, as opposed to trying to take action, or as opposed to, let me affirm and then let me check the evidence to see if my affirmations are working, because that's not trust. That's not genuine trust. So when you start affirming for your self concept more and more and more and more, the more you do that, the more that you're going to feel less exhausted. because now you're not trying to get something so hard. You're satisfied with validating yourself. And when you get satisfied with validating yourself, that causes the circumstances to shift with that same person, and it causes that person to come back in and contact you. If you're aware, why is this not happening? There's no contact yet. What is it? Da, 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 da. And plus, also, why are you guys always waiting for the person to contact you? When I'm in a happy, successful relationship, I am in a place where I'm reaching out and talking to you regardless. I was discussing this with one of my clients yesterday. She was having trouble because she was feeling like my SP is not reaching out to me. And I was like, okay, 5 years down the line, you're already with this person. Are you gonna feel like you can't reach out to them? You have to remember everything that you're doing has to align with the story that you're creating. So let me back up a little bit. If you got into a place where you mastered your self concept and you know that you're enough, for me, people will be like, "Oh no, don't reach out." Why? If you're in a place where your self concept is good enough and you feel calm, at balanced, and relaxed, I say you can reach out. But if you're constantly like, "Oh no, they have to do this and they have to do this and they have to do this because I don't trust them and I don't trust this," that is still you coming from the old story. Because why else would you be saying that you can't reach out to them? It's because you're still thinking from the story that they don't want me, or I'm a burden to them, or do you not do you feel a burden to your husband that you're happily married to? Do you feel like a burden to your wife that you're happily married to? Do you feel like a burden to the why would you so it's like waiting for them to constantly also reach out. I wouldn't suggest reaching out if you're coming from a place of super desperation and you're totally concentrating on what they're going to say, how fast they're going to reply. If you're still there, no, I don't suggest it. But if you're into a place where you're calm, relaxed, and you're kind of like over things and you do want to reach out and you want to say hello, I would say do it. Because if you're constantly coming from a place of they have to fix this, they have to do this, they have to, where's that coming from you for you to think like that? It's coming from an issue that you're still remembering. For you to even feel like they have to be the ones to fix everything. I need an apology. I need this. I need this. I need them to okay. But are you giving yourself the validation that you was trying to get from this person this whole time? I was doing that. In the beginning a little bit with my SP. And then I was like, you know what? No, he likes me. I like him. And I'm not going to go into this feeling like, oh, I can't communicate. And no, and everything is perfect. I'm not chasing. Because a lot of the times we'll feel like, oh, I'm the woman. I'm not making the first move. Okay, well, you don't talk to your husband. You don't hit up your spouse when you're thinking about them and you want to tell them something nice. You always wait for him to text you. Because after a while, that's just going to be a one-sided relationship. And then you're going to end up ruining it again. So you've got to be mindful where you're coming from when you take these actions. Or you want to constantly wait for him to reach out because it was an issue that he did wrong. Oh, you're still coming from the old story. Got it. I suggest you reaching out when you have a real, really, really, really good level of understanding how this works. Because if you keep reaching out, being a person that's desperate, you're going to keep seeing a reflection in your person until you stop that. Until you understand that you need to embody the confident you that's not chasing, that's not worrying about if they're a burden. They know that they're that girl. They know that they're that guy. They know that if, you know, like I said, you always gotta put yourself in a celebrity mindset. Do you think if Rihanna wants to text or call anybody, she's gonna think she's a burden to anybody? Absolutely not. She knows that when she calls or texts anybody that knows that's old enough to know who she is, or that has a conscience to understand who she is and knows that's Rihanna, you think that they're gonna be burdened by that? She knows nobody's gonna be burdened by that. Everybody's gonna be excited to talk to her because that's what she tells herself. That's her embodiment. And you have to think about yourself like that. Because if you don't think about yourself like that, you're gonna think someone else is on a pedestal, which is what you're doing now with this person, which is why you're in the situation you are, which is why you feel exhausted. Because you're thinking of them as more important than you. You think they're better than you. That's why you feel like you gotta get them to feel great. When in reality, you're supposed to already feel great, which is what's gonna get them, which is how you got them to begin with. You know what I'm saying? You just went back into the old self that got fearful because you're like, oh my God, I love this person. Don't want to lose them, which causes you to take inspired action to lose them because that's who you're becoming now with your thought process. You just went from confident, I know I'm that person, to now, oh my God, I'm with this person. I'm scared to lose them. I'm so scared to lose them that now I'm thinking about losing them so much that I'm taking action to lose them. Then you lose them, then you get into the no contact, then you start getting online, then you start researching these dating coaches that tell you, oh, no contact, get into no contact. Okay. I only get into no contact when I don't want somebody in my life no more, when I don't want to talk to you. Yeah, I'll give myself space if I'm feeling really desperate and feeling really bad. I give myself space to recalibrate, of course. But I'm not going no contact with something I want to love and be in contact with every day. Yes, the no contact has worked in some instances, but that worked because during that no contact, you changed the story about yourself in relation to that person and in relation to how you feel about relationships in general. You gave up the resistance during the no contact. That's it. But if you could give up the resistance, get into the proper embodiment, you don't need to do that no contact stuff. You don't need to stress yourself out. You don't need to suffer. But you're causing your own suffering by having separation thoughts, separation thinking. Separation thinking is anything that's not loving with you and your person. Okay? So in order to not be exhausted, you gotta get it has to click in your mind that this person is not better than you. Because you get exhausted when you run. You get exhausted when you're chasing something. You're doing a lot. That's how you get exhausted. When you finally stop and you're like, you're doing too much. Take it easy. Let's remember who we are. Let's remember how we get things. Let's remember how we manifest. You are enough. You always been good enough and you always will be good enough. And that's what you have to keep remembering. You don't need to, nobody on this planet should be making you exhausted to try to get them. Okay? And I'm just going to leave you guys there with that. If you're ever in need of coaching, I am available. And to check out my availability, there's a link in the description box below. And also, Create Your Future has a free course. You can also check out with the link in the description box below. And I also have courses available too. And there's a link for that in the description box below. And until next time, before I say see ya, Do not allow anyone to make you feel exhausted to try to get them back. Okay? All right.